Hello friends, Sarah Sunstone here, bringing you the latest gaming news with Sunnyside Up. Today is December 15th, 2025. Witchbrook shared another developer blog featuring our first look at the winter holidays, a preview of the game's original soundtrack, another new dateable character, and more. So grab a cozy drink and shine that lovely like button if you're excited for the latest Witchbrook news. And now, without any further ado, let's get right into it. So this developer blog is titled Winter Comes to Mossport, which is very fitting because we are actually going to be getting a closer look at what the winter season will look like in town, as well as at the School of Witchbrook. Not just the season of winter itself, but also how the holidays will be represented in the game. And I can already tell you, it is looking so magical. The team shared that in the wintertime in Mossport, the mornings may feel a little darker and the days shorter, but with the first dusting of snow also comes the delightful addition of festive decorations. And although it's business as usual for your daily life in Mossport, with a routine of magical studies, crafting goods for consultations, and perhaps some late night foraging or even a ritual, in the background the city is gearing up for the winter festivities. So it does seem like in the winter season, we'll be able to continue participating in all of our regular gameplay activities, so attending classes, taking on side jobs here and there, foraging around town, and more. But we will notice over time as we go about our days that the city is transforming for the winter holidays. They also shared that if you take a broom ride through the outskirts of town, you'll notice that your neighbors have been stringing fairy lights across their porches. And in town, every store from Calico to Olives, Caffeina, Harbor Homes, and more have decorated their windows with candy canes and baubles. Apparently, even the bus stops are draped in humongous red bows, and the street lamps are clad with winter garlands. So it does seem like it is a total transformation for the winter holidays, and we will get a look at this as well in-game. It looks so beautiful. I did just want to point out that Calico is the clothing store. Olives is a cafe-style restaurant that's known for their pastries, and Caffeina is a cafe. We've seen all three of these locations in various clips in the trailers. I'm not exactly sure what Harbor Homes is. It is listed as being a store, so perhaps this is where we could purchase furniture for our home. That's probably my best guess at this point, but another business confirmed here. Finally here, they shared that there are so many small details all around the city that they hope we'll love spotting for ourselves, but for now, here's a few of their favorites. And then we get into some beautiful photos. So in the first photo here, we get to take a look at what the town will look like in the winter, specifically around those winter holidays. This appears to be just outside of a market. We've seen this area before. We've actually seen a player interact with some of the lemons, using magic to kind of fix up the display. But the snow looks so lovely and fluffy. It's covering almost everything. We can definitely see that the businesses have decorated for the holidays. There's garland wrapped around the sign here. There's a lovely little snow person at the entrance of this shop. The city itself is also participating in getting festive. They've added holly baskets to the fencing, and the lampposts have been wrapped so they appear to be candy canes. And of course, we have this beautiful festive tree in the very center of the plaza here. So we've got tons of gifts. We've got a nutcracker, and then a tree covered in snow and baubles with a little candle at the very top. It also appears that there's some lights or baubles on the trees over here, as well as up over here in the back corner. So again, lots of little festive touches all over the place. The residents, most of them do appear to be bundled up for the winter, though some of them seem to not be fazed by the cold. Some of them are just wearing their t-shirts, but it does seem like most of them are wearing their winter wear, so we can expect that aspect of the city to transform as well, season to season. The next in-game photo shares a look at the inside of Witchbrook School, Witchbrook College. This area is definitely giving the feel of a grand hall, maybe close to the entrance or where you would pass through between classes. We can actually see one of the classrooms in the back left over here, but the school has been so beautifully transformed for the festive holidays. We have some little holiday trees in cauldrons here. I think that's so cute. It's such a clever idea. We have some beautiful festive garland mounted all around the school. It looks like these chandeliers have also been decorated with like holly bushes. They look very lovely. And then we have another tree here. This one's a little bit different. It has some lovely blue garland on it, some baubles, some gifts at the bottom as well. But then I love this touch of the Witchbrook logo at the very top of the tree. You do see this shape kind of everywhere in the game. I do wonder if there's actually more to it than it just being the logo. I do wonder if there's some lore to it. I mean, we kind of see it here on the ground too. We see variations of this all over the place. So I am actually really curious to know if there is lore behind this symbol or if it is just a representation of the game within the game. Either way, I do love that touch. I mean, it's here on the baskets too. So yeah, I love that as the tree topper. And then the final in-game photo that they shared, though there is a video that we'll check out in a minute here too, is of this plaza area, also in the town of Mossport. Here, once again, we see the snow. I really love that the dusting of snow doesn't completely cover everything. I like that it's like a little bit here and there. This way lets the decorations and buildings still pop without being completely covered in snow. So I really like the balance that they're striking here. Now over here, the entrance to this plaza is decorated with garland and baubles, candles and such, very festive. Again, over here we can see one of the businesses has strung up some garland on their sign. And then this entrance has been completely made over to be incredibly festive. We have garland all the way around, including atop here. We have lots of little baubles and ornaments, decorating this archway. And then these planter boxes have also been made over for the holidays. So we have like what looks like a gingerbread cookie kind of tree decoration. The trees here have also been decorated with baubles, and we have a giant gift here as well. Over on the right, kind of the same situation. We have the baubles on the trees. Then we also have a gingerbread person decoration here, which I just love. Now this here, the sleigh with the tree and a bunch of gifts, it could be part of the decorations, but I almost feel like this is maybe a story beat because it seems like maybe it's associated with this character here. And I don't know if I'm imagining this, but this looks like a bit of a coffee mug. And I feel like that's not part of the decoration. So I almost feel like maybe we're going to help this character get set up somewhere. It almost seems like they're bringing in these decorations, or maybe they're, in the midst of decorating the town right here. And we're kind of just stopping by to say hi as they're putting up all their decorations. So maybe this is just kind of in the process of being decorated. Maybe it's not a quest specifically, but I do really like the idea of us seeing the town transform gradually over time and actually seeing some of the locals working on that. So it's not just like overnight everything's suddenly decorated. If true, that will make the game feel even more immersive and the world more alive, which it just seems like the team is constantly very mindful of. So yeah, I like this little touch here. And again, I love how the world looks. Now, next up, we're actually getting a preview of the game's soundtrack. They shared that the composer has done a fantastic job seamlessly blending the score of the Witchbrook soundtrack, with each track flowing into one another, changing with the seasons, time of day, and various locations. They elaborated that there's even a different version of each song for broom riding to really capture the uplifting feel of flying through the city. So then, the composer actually expanded on his process here. So he shared that one of the biggest differences between Witchbrook and his past projects is how open the game is. So when the music starts, he has no idea what the player will be doing that day. So the soundtrack has to account for a lot of different scenarios, which is such a fair point and something I hadn't really considered until reading this, because in a lot of other games, if they're very story focused or very linear, or perhaps you just have a better idea of what exactly the player is going to be doing in that situation, it's probably easier to create music that's going to fit exactly that activity, that scene, that mood. But when you're in this game that has so much freedom and you can make so many different choices regarding what you're going to do with your gameplay, how do you make music that actually matches the mood for everyone? So very interesting. He further shared that at the same time, it's really important for the music to have space to breathe. The melodies are rich and naturally flowing, and it wouldn't fit the experience to have them stopping and starting too often. So for that reason, the soundtrack utilizes variants for different states, like riding the broom and entering cozy interiors. Finally, he shared that he's excited to show off the soundtrack in action at a later date, but for today, he's put together a mini winter suite, showcasing the variants of one of the tracks that can play during the winter season specifically. It honestly sounds so cozy, so relaxing, so magical, so lovely. This year specifically in 2025, I've gained such an elevated appreciation for video game music soundtracks. And so I was really excited to actually get to listen to some of the music that we'll experience in Witchbrook in the winter. Now, alongside getting to enjoy this winter suite of music, we also get to take a peek inside Olive's in action during the holidays, so we can see various residents of Mossport coming and going, taking a seat, visiting with friends, maybe family, and once again we can see how everything has been transformed for the winter holidays. So Olive's is decorated both inside and out, with festive decorations, garlands, baubles, candles, and such. And I'm so excited to see how the town also comes to life at night in the winter with all of the beautiful lights that seem to be, sprinkled around the town and also the school. It also seems like this section of the world is very populated. I don't know if this was done specifically for, this project of showing off the music and one of the spots in town, or if this is actually how it's going to be in our gameplay. I'm definitely hoping for the latter because I think it'd be really nice to see this level of activity in the areas of the world where that would actually make sense while we're playing the game. But yeah, it just looks lovely. The soundtrack sounds beautiful. I can't wait to hear more of it. And I'm so grateful that they shared this with us ahead of the holidays as like a little gift. It's perfect. I'll definitely be listening to this over the holidays myself. So a little thank you to the composer and the Witchbrook team for sharing this with us. Next for today's news, they showed off another new character, another dateable character, and that is Pip. Now, Pip was teased in previous editions of the Witchbrook Oracle, but now we are officially meeting Pip, who is the witch mechanic in town. So Pip is another member of our coven, a witch mechanic who runs a workshop near the harbor. Apparently, Pip's personality is as colorful and slightly chaotic as her inventive projects. She loves nothing more than figuring out the perfect way to mesh magic with her mechanical know-how and approaches every challenge with a cheeky grin and a can-do attitude. So will you choose to date Pip and help bring her magical experiments to life? Let me know down in the comments if you have your eye on Pip. I do also wonder what potential role Pip might play outside of romance. Will she be helping us with, leveling up our broom and maybe adding some mods to it? I'm really curious to know if any of these magical experiments related to inventions and mechanics will actually lend themselves to our gameplay. So very excited to see if that's the case or if it's simply part of, Pip's storyline. Now, finally, for today's news, the team wanted to share a little bit of what's next for Witchbrook. So 2025 has been a huge year for development, and they've actually just finished some top secret playtesting, which is really exciting because that is super important to get the game into people's hands so they can provide player feedback that is outside of, the team specifically. They're definitely going to get a different perspective from something like this rather than just doing internal playtesting, where in that case, a lot of times the team members know what to expect and know what they need to do. So you don't always make the same discoveries doing playtesting internally as you would having, some folks on the outside trying out the game from that fresh perspective. So they did share that this has helped them refine some of the balancing aspects of the game, and it's been a massive milestone, super insightful for the team. So that's excellent to hear. That's exactly what I want to hear. Over on the development side, the team will be focusing on implementing the feedback they've received, apparently adding even more content, porting to consoles, and tightening up the overall loop and balance of the game. They haven't given us an updated release window outside of the year 2026 since the game was delayed. Based on this information that they're giving here, I would probably speculate that the game won't release until the second half of 2026, maybe later into the year, because it does seem like they still have a lot of stuff to work on. And honestly, I want all of this to be nice and polished. I would love to see it release, simultaneously across platforms if possible, maybe also including PS5. Fingers crossed, please. That's what I would guess. That's just speculation, but I'm happy to hear that things are going really well for them, on the development side. Finally here, they just wanted to thank everyone in the community for our enthusiastic support throughout the year and ongoing encouragement. They said they know it's been a long journey, but they truly believe that all good things take time, and I completely agree with that. They said that they've poured a lot of love and dedication into Witchbrook that they hope we can see and feel on release. And I already see it. I already feel it. You can feel the love that's been put into this game in literally everything that they share about this game. So I can't wait, of course, to get my hands on it when it releases. Make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel with your notifications on so you can stay in the loop on all things Witchbrook and also get excited together for the release. Finally here, the team just shared happy holidays and happy new year and that they'll see us in 2026. So I think this is probably going to be the last we hear from them before the new year. So I wouldn't expect any other news or updates or announcements until January at the soonest. Of course, you guys know I will cover whatever they share whenever they choose to share it, but I'm so happy they gave us this bonus developer blog before the end of the year. So there you have it, friends. That's the latest news from Witchbrook. Be sure to share your thoughts with me on this one down in the comments. You know, anything and everything. I always love hearing from you. And with all that being said, thank you, friends, so much for watching. I love you all. And until next time, take care.